Hey y'all, welcome to Craftable Things. I'm Patrice and today we are going to be doing a So Good tutorial. Alright y'all, so as you all know, usually Delonta of Crafting with Delonta and I usually go live on the weekends and we do a So Good tutorial featuring embroidery. Well, this weekend we will not be going live, but we did take a few minutes out of our time to make some cute bookmarks. So hopefully, I hope you all already saw Delonda's video where she demonstrated how to make the bookmark that she chose. And this is the bookmark that I chose. Y'all, it is so adorable. I got this design from Designs by Little B. I will have a link listed below in the description to this exact bookmark in case you want to follow along with me. But I think it's super cute. It is a band bookmark, and so there is an elastic band on it. And y'all, we didn't have to sew this individually. We actually did all of this inside of the hoop. So that's the project that we're doing, a bookmark inside of the hoop. And sometimes in the hoop is ITH. If you ever see ITH, that's what ITH, those acronyms mean, in the hoop. And that just means that we are going to get our hoop and we are literally going to do everything inside of the hoop. Now, you may not feel comfortable removing your hoop on and off of your machine, but don't worry, nothing will impact the stitches. You just have to make sure you place it back in the same way and click start, and it is going to pick up exactly where it left off. Now, when you're removing the hoop, you don't want to move anything around, so be very careful when you're working with your project in the hoop. You don't want to alter any of the, you don't want to open your hoop, you don't want to alter any of the stabilizer, you don't want to tug on the stabilizer or anything like that, because if you keep everything exactly as it should be, you won't have a problem picking up exactly where you left off when you're removing it. Now, this project, you will have to do quite a bit of removing it on and off of the machine, so just know that, just be prepared for that. In a few seconds, I'm going to go over all of the important materials. However, I did want to show you some of the optional things that we'll be using today. So you're going to need some adhesive. So you may want to decide that you want to use painter's tape, 504 adhesive spray, or pins. And that's necessary because you'll need that to pin down the different fabrics that you're going to be using. Now, I use 3 different fabrics, but you don't necessarily have to even use any more than that. You can just use maybe 1 fabric if that's what you're more comfortable with, but I will walk through the process of every change that I did and each time I placed the fabric down and cut it so that you can kind of get an idea of how I was able to get this done. But I absolutely love how this came out. We're going to head over to Little B so you can see the Little B site. And if you are interested, a link will be listed below for you to go ahead and grab this file and make you a cute mini bookmark. So let's get started. Now we're on the Designs by Little B website, and this is the site where we're going to be getting our project from for today. However, Designs by Little B has so many cute and fun projects that you can make with your embroidery machines. She has a lot of projects for 4x4 hoops and other hoops. However, if you have a smaller embroidery machine, you'll be able to find something on this site for you to do inside of the hoop. So I'm just going to type here, we're going to be looking for book band, and those are bookmarks. And here you'll see where she has a wide variety of different bookmark book band projects that you could create and make for yourself or make for a gift. The one that we're going to be using today is going to be the mouse planner band, and this is what it looks like. So let's go ahead and purchase this and download it so that we can complete our project. Once you purchase and download it, it will be in your downloads folder. Now, all you have to do is select the exact bookmark that you want. So there's different types, and you have the option of having it sewn in, or you can sew it in yourself. They have it listed here. So you have the book band slider, you have the book band sew-in, and there's a Mickey Mouse version and also a Minnie Mouse version of it. So I'm just going to scroll down to the Minnie Mouse version,
and I want the band sewn in. Okay, so there's two different ones here. If you look, you'll see all of the different file exchanges. Check out the listing before you purchase just to make sure that the file type you needed is provided. So I need a DST for my Ricoma machine, and here is the DST version of the mini book band. In addition to that, you will have the option to look at the step list, and that step list will just show you exactly the order or the color stops that's going to be required so that you will know. Okay, so I would definitely recommend printing this out.
For today's project, this is everything that we'll pretty much need besides our embroidery machine. So I went ahead and I printed out the step list. If you get this design, she does have a detailed instruction sheet where it's actually a few pages where she lists in detail exactly what you'll need to do per step. I went ahead and printed out the step list, and I just wrote down my own reminders of what I need to do. And I do like to keep these for whenever I make this project again, just so that I can remember what to do. So I just have the different places where I'm going to just do a placement stitch, and once I know which material I'm using, I'll be able to decide the color thread that I'm going to be using. So also you're going to need either cutaway or tearaway stabilizer. For this project, I'm going to be using tearaway stabilizer. However, you can use cutaway stabilizer as well. I have elastic for this project because we are going to be making a bookmark, but we're going to be making one that has an elastic band. I also have faux leather. You can use whatever type of material that you want to use, but I have faux leather for the different parts. In fact, you don't even have to use all of this faux leather. If you wanted to just use one piece of fabric for the base and the bottom of your bookmark, you can. You don't have to use all of this, but I want to have fabric for the bottom layer. I also want to have fabric for inside of the mini ears, and then I also want to have a glitter bow. So that's why I have so many, but you don't have to have so many. And I also have my 5.5 inch mighty hoop that I'll be using. This particular project, you can use a 4x4 hoop with this project. So if you have a single needle machine, you don't have to use a multi-needle machine for this, and you can make this project with a 4x4 hoop. Okay, so we're going to get ready and get this all hooped and head over to our machine. We're going to get ready to hoop our mighty hoop, and this particular elastic is 3/4 of an inch, and this is going to be part of our first step. Okay, well, it's actually going to be the second step, but we're going to be using this elastic. So let's get ready, and we are going to hoop it. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of tearaway because I want it to be sturdy. I don't want it to stitch through. So I'm just going to use 2 pieces of tearaway. If you were to use cutaway, especially if the weight is high enough, then you wouldn't need 2 pieces, but this is not the heaviest of tearaway stabilizers. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get ready to hoop this. All right, that's good. Before we hoop our machine, let's prepare the elastic. And the first thing we want to do is measure the length of the book. And this is about almost 8.5. It's about 8.25. And so we're going to multiply that by 2. Once we multiply that by 2, then we're going to subtract 2 from that number. So 8.5 or 8.25 times 2 will give us 16.5, and then we need to subtract 2 from that, so that's going to give us 14.5. So our elastic needs to be 14.5 inches. So we'll cut it right there. You can mark it if it's easier for you to just go ahead and mark it so you'll know exactly where to cut. I'm just going to go ahead and cut there. So this will be our elastic for the project.
Now we're ready to hoop our Ricoma Marquee 2001 embroidery machine so that we can begin setting up our project.
Okay, y'all, so now it's time for us to upload the design into the machine, and we're just going to place this here. Uh-oh, I have it upside down. And we're going to bring it in. So let's go to select design. I am on the USB slot, and this design is called Mini Book Band. Okay, so we're going to select that one. This is a total of 3,339 stitches, and there are 9 different colors. So that's really just letting us know there's going to be 9 different stops for this bookmark. Okay, and it just came up on the screen. I'm going to hit select, save to machine, and let's go to our machine tab, and here is our bookmark. I'm going to hit select, and now we have the bookmark uploaded on the screen. The next thing I need to do is change that hoop size. We're going to be using the 5x5 or 5.5 inch mighty hoop, and I'm going to select hoop. Yes. All right, so everything looks good. The next thing I need to do is I need to begin selecting the color. And this is the part that's going to be very important. You want to make sure that you take a look at your instruction sheet so that you will know all of the stops. So immediately I'm going to change this to automatic manual because I know that we're going to have a lot of different stops. So right now, each color stop is letting us know what it's going to be performing. So which task it's going to be performing. And right now we see that these 2 lines here, they're blinking. So those are the 2 placement stitches that we're going to be doing first, okay? So another thing that they suggested with this design, save changes, is to rotate it. Okay, so we're just going to hit rotate, and I'm just going to turn it that way. Okay, so we're going to click OK. You can do it whichever way you want. You just want to make sure that you rotate it because we're going to be placing the elastic band on it. Click OK. And the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to head back over to select color. Now this is going to be a placement stitch, so I'm just simply going to use the black thread. So I'm going to hit 1. And now we're going to continue to do what we're going to do. I'm going to go to 2 because that's going to be the color of the elastic. The other material will hide that for us, okay? The very first thing we're going to be doing is the elastic. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay that bottom fabric. And I thought that I wanted to go with white, but I'm not sure. I think we're going to stick with white. Okay, so then I'll just hit white again. I'm going to go to 2 again. And then I'm going to keep hitting all the colors. All right, so I did go and grab my notes because I need to make sure of what I'm doing. So number 4, that's going to be another placement stitch. So I'm just going to select number 1 for that. And then we're going to be doing a tack down stitch. And for the tack down stitch, I'm actually going to go with the pink. And then we are going to do another tack down stitch. And for that tack down stitch, I'm just going to go with the white. That's for the ears. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing the satin outline, the satin stitch outline. And so I am going to select color 1, which is black. And then for the bow, we're going to do, I think I'm going to go with like a gray bow, or at least an outline. The inside is going to be pink, but we're going to go with like a gray outline or gray satin stitch. So that's going to be number 9. And then for that final stitch around the outline, we're going to go back with the white stitch because that's going to be the bottom layer of the bookmark. And then once we have that, we're just going to select save, and we're pretty much ready to begin stitching. Now it's time for us to enter into embroidery status because we need to do our trace. I'm going to just select setup mode right here. Yes. And now the rest of the options are highlighted and we need to perform a trace. All right, so I'm just pressing trace on the screen and it's going to trace the area of the design. And that looks really good. If you want to, you can do a trace design, and that's just going to give you pretty much a more detailed area. Like it's going to actually trace the actual shape of the design. Okay, so now we can get ready to get started, but it looks like I need to go ahead and rethread my white because look, it's not threaded, and that's one of the stitches that we're going to be using soon. Okay, so now I'm ready to start, and I'm just going to do a long press on the start key.
The machine is now going to stitch step 1 of the project, which is a placement stitch. This stitch will help us to know exactly where to place the elastic band. After this stitch is done, we are going to be removing the hoop away from the machine and heading over to our craft table.
If you're using a larger hoop like this, it may be a little bit challenging to actually get this hooped or get this on here correctly. So I'm going to show you all what I'm going to do. Ideally, you want this to kind of go underneath or go on top like this, and then this bottom part to go fit under the hoop. But if we try to do that here, it's not going to fix, and then I'll have to stretch the elastic, and I don't really want to do that. So what I am going to do is I am going to just pin this here and then pin that right here too, and then I'm going to take the elastic away from the sewing area. All right, so we're going to use some painter's tape, and this tape will keep the elastic out of the way. Now we're ready to rehoop. And we're ready to go to step 2. The next thing I'm going to do is get ready to place my material here in the center. And we are going to just be, this is going to tack down this material, okay? So I'm just going to fill it in as much as possible. The instruction says that this is a placement stitch, but it really looks like it's a placement and tack down all at the same time, okay? So we're going to click start. And I'm just going to hold it in place. You can use adhesive to keep it down so you don't have to babysit it. Or you can just hold it in place right here. Just don't put your fingers or anything near your needles. All right, so we're taking it off, and I'm going to get ready and just cut around there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut around that tack down stitch, okay? So we're just going to cut around it. I'm just cutting around that stitch, making sure that I don't cut the stitch. All right, now we're back at the machine, and we are going to be doing another placement stitch. Mighty Hoops, that magnet is very strong. Now it says that this project should take about 5 minutes, but there is a lot of moving it on and off, but total stitch time is about 5 minutes. Okay, actually says a little less than 5 minutes. All right, so let's get ready to do our next placement stitch. For here, I could cut a small piece, or I could just stand here and hold it, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to stand, we're going to just leave it right here. You can either tape it down, whatever you prefer. If you want to put some adhesive on it, you can, some of the temporary adhesive, but I am just going to have that like that. But this is the temporary adhesive that you could use to kind of hold it so that you don't necessarily have to stand here and hold it. But I'm going to stay right here, and it just needs to be right there. That's where it needs to be, and I'm going to hold it I'm going to go up a little bit, like about right there. Right, so that one is done. So now I'm going to get ready to just cut from around there, and then I'm going to get ready to place the other placement stitch for the bow, or place the fabric for the other placement stitch for the bow.
Now we're going to head back to the table, and I'm just going to cut around that stitch. Be sure that when you're cutting that you don't cut any of the stitching on the actual project. You just want to cut around it. Now once we finally cut everything off, all that excess material, we're going to place the hoop back onto the machine. I'm then going to place the next piece of faux leather on top, just so that it can cover the bow. Now you can tape the material down, you can use adhesive. I'm just holding it, but you want to make sure anytime you're placing your fabric on top of the placement stitch, you want to make sure that it covers it completely. So now we're just going to go ahead and cut all of that excess material from around the bow, and we're pretty good.
Alright guys, so now it's time for us to get ready and do our final stitches. And this part, we're going to be doing the satin stitch for around the frame of the face and the ears. And then the next step is to do the satin stitch around the bows. So now we're getting ready to do the bow, and let's start. Alright guys, so we're all done with this part, and we're pretty much done. I think it looks super adorable. The only thing we need to do now is we need to just place a piece of fabric on the back so that we could hide those stitches. Okay, so it's going to have a backing on it. So let's get ready to set that up. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place a piece of fabric to cover that. I also want to go ahead and get rid of some of these threads here. Alright, and I'm just snipping these. Now at first I was 100% sold on putting a piece of the white faux leather on the back, but now I don't know if I want to just go ahead and put the glitter on the back. I think that would look super pretty. Or I could also put a piece of the plaid material on the back. I think that would look nice too. It's up to you. The only thing with the glitter, I don't know if that glitter on the back, because this is a little textured. You see, you can feel it's not a harsh feel of the glitter, but it's still there, right? So I don't know if I necessarily want to use that, but I might go ahead and place some of the, and this is a little thinner. So these two are thinner. They're thinner than this faux leather. So maybe I want to just go ahead and place a piece of the plaid on the back. I think that would look nice. It's up to you. Like, however you do yours, it's going to work great for you. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to place that there, and I'm going to cut a piece. And this is going to be our final stitch. Okay, let's just go ahead, just to be on the safe side. I'm going to cut along this pink line right here. And let's see, that will cover it. And then at least to this black piece.
To make sure that the fabric stays secure on the back, I'm going to use a little bit of the 504 adhesive spray. I'm going to spray it directly onto the back of the fabric and not necessarily onto the hoop. I don't want that to get everywhere. And once I'm done with this, I'm going to place some painter's tape on the edges. You can use painter's tape only if you want, but I'm just trying to make sure that it stays secure since it's such a small piece.
All right, y'all, so now we're getting ready to place this into the hoop for the final time. Onto the machine for the final time. And everything, I'm just making sure everything is in place. And because we placed that material on the bottom, I just want to check to make sure nothing shifted as I placed it inside of the frames. Okay, so now we're going to get ready. We're going to hit start, and this is the final stitch. All right, that's the sign that we're all done. And this is what we have. So now we're going to take it out of the hoop. All right, so we're all done. And let's get ready to take it off of the hoop. We're going to remove all of this because we are all done with it. Go ahead. All right, let me remove all this painter's tape. You can go ahead and remove this. And we're going to cut around the many ears in the back. Okay, so we're just going to trace this or cut along the stitch.
This is the final step of the project, and you want to make sure that you don't cut your stitches, just cut around it. And also make sure to tear away that tearaway stabilizer. You can just rip it off and you will have a complete and adorable project.
All right, guys, so we're all done, and this is our bookmark book band. And I think it looks super adorable. I love it. It doesn't take long to make one of these. You just have to make sure that you are following the instructions. And so let's say we just put this just like this on top of here. And look at that. It looks amazing. And you still have even more room. And I like it this way. They do have an option where you can sew it in after the fact, but I kind of like this way where it's inside of
the actual bookmark piece. I like it like that. But that's what we have. And it looks really good.
All right, y'all, so we are all done with making this bookmark, and how easy was it? I think it's super easy. Please let me know below if you plan on doing one of these, or if you saw something else on the Little Bee site that you were interested in. Now, there are other bookmarks that you can find on site of Creative Fabrica, Design Bundles, or other sites like that, where they do have embroidery designs where you'll be able to find similar projects as this. Okay, but y'all, it was so easy to do, not too many steps. There was a little bit of cutting, but just remember that everything that I use below will be listed in the description in case you want to get it and check it out and maybe make your own embroidered bookmark. Super cute. I'm loving this so very much. So very much. All right, so that's it for today, y'all. Thank you for watching. Just remember that we will be back on for So Good Live very soon. We should be up and running next weekend, so be on the lookout for that, and we will post the link for you all to see that. But we appreciate you. We enjoy you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and learning how to do this bookmark band. Until next time, y'all.